Hey mama, I want to talk to you about delegation. Look, delegating is hard. It is challenging, but it doesn't have to be. There's one really big mistake a lot of people make when they delegate, and that's why it's so hard for them, and that's why it seems to never work. And I want to share with you what that one big mistake is. And don't worry, I also want to share with you how you cannot make that mistake, right? I want to share with you the answer to that so that you're not making that mistake, and when you're delegating, it's successful. When I first became a manager, I had to learn how to delegate. I got promoted because I was able to do so much. But once I became a manager, it wasn't about how much I did, it was about how I managed other people and what they did, right? So everything changed. I had to learn how to delegate. And when I did that, let me tell you, my career took off. And so delegation, I know, helps careers to grow, but here's the thing, it also helps you to grow outside of work. When you start to delegate at work, you learn how to delegate outside of work. You get better at getting the support that you need from your friends, from your family, from your husband, from services. You start to look around and say, how can I clear my plate? And you do it a lot faster so that you can focus on the areas that you want to focus on, so that you can find time to rest, so that you can find time to work on your personal, passion projects and your personal development, and to see friends and to just relax sometimes. Delegation is key to all of that. And the one big mistake that people make when they delegate is that they fail to have a successful definition of the outcome they desire. They fail to be able to articulate what success looks like at the end of the task. And when they do that, the person who they've delegated the work to shows up with something that just isn't what you asked for, and it feels like a failure. So how can you fix this? You can have a successful definition of what the outcome should be. And this goes with both types of delegation, right? So there's two types of delegation. There's the idea of delegating to someone who's an expert. So you don't have to teach them, they're an expert, they already know how to do it. A thought with this is like when you drop your laundry off, if you drop your dry cleaning off, right? Or you drop off your wash and fold laundry, you give it to someone else, they're an expert, right? They're a professional at doing laundry, and they do it and you get it back, and it's probably better than you can fold yourself, right? And everything comes out a little bit crisper, right? They're an expert. But let's say though, right, as you give them that laundry, you're not clear about the outcome that you want, which might be, let's just keep it super simple. Maybe you want things folded, or maybe you want them hung. If you don't share, when you give it back to me, can you give it back to me folded, or can you give it back to me hung? Then they're gonna give it back to you however they think is best. And how they think is best might not be how you think is best. So you just have to be really clear on that ultimate outcome. Same thing goes at work, right? You can go ahead and delegate and say, hey, could you help me put together this presentation? Someone can work on the presentation and they give it to you and it's full of animation. And you're like, what the? Nobody wants an animated presentation. This takes forever to go through. It's not like my personal brand of professionalism. But they think it looks spectacular. Why? Because you never told them that you don't want animation, that you want static slides, that you want no more than 3 or 4 bullets on a slide, right? So they give you a PowerPoint that has a ton, like paragraphs on slides. You have to articulate the outcome that you want. And when you do that, then the person can be working towards that outcome, right? Towards that successful return of the task. The other way to delegate, right, is really about giving it to someone who is new to the task, who has to learn how to do the task, right? So you give it to them and you can teach them along the way how to do it. Still, if as you teach them, you don't have that successful outcome in mind and you're not able to articulate it, they're never going to be able to deliver it. So whether you are giving your task, whether you are delegating to someone who is an expert or who is a novice who needs to learn, you need to be able to have a successful outcome so that they know what they're working towards, and that when you get it back, whatever it is, if it's the laundry, if it's a PowerPoint presentation, if it's an Excel sheet, whenever you get it back, it is what you expected. It can only be what you expect if you can articulate that well to the person that has asked for it. So that's how you get a successful outcome. It is honestly the biggest mistake that I see people making when they delegate. It's a big mistake that I used to make, and I had to learn how to say, hey, here's what I expect at the end very specifically, so that I can very specifically get that back. And it is a key to making delegation easy, because the more that you do this, the better you're going to get at actually articulating that end task. So that's the biggest mistake people make when delegating. They don't have a successful outcome that they can articulate. And now you know that, and you can make a plan to actually share what that outcome looks like. So I want you to take some action. I want you to think about any task that you have delegated out now or something that you're planning to delegate. And can you articulate, can you say what the successful outcome looks like? If not, go back to the drawing board, work on that before you delegate it, or check back in with the person that you delegated it to and say, like, hey, here is what I'm expecting. Very detailed. Here's what I'm expecting from you when you complete the task. If you want to know more about delegation, I have a course out right now. It is a masterclass for working moms on how to delegate. It will help you to delegate not only at work, but also at home. So please, if you are struggling with delegation, I would love for you to check out the course. And I would also love for you to pop in the comments something that you're delegating right now.